I was standing in my parents' driveway on Christmas Day, holding a flimsy little envelope in my hand. While my younger brother, let's call him the golden boy, was screaming and crying over a brand new Dodge Avenger my parents had just surprised him with. He got a car, a speech about how he deserved the world, and a crowd of relatives cheering like he'd just cured a disease. I got a $10 gift card. No hug. No speech. No thought. And in that moment, watching my brother pose with a car that I didn't know I had partially paid for, something inside me snapped. Because what I didn't know yet, what I was about to find out, was that my parents had secretly linked my PayPal to their bills, drained my income for months, and even used my money to help pay for that shiny car. And when I finally cut them off, they didn't just lose the car. They didn't just lose me. They lost everything. The wildest part? The worst damage they suffered came from their own attempts to make me look like the villain. The fight was just beginning. Stick around. Look, this is going to be a wild ride. Before we dive in, if you love stories about justice and standing your ground, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a story. Okay. So, it all started way before that Christmas. My name is Gretchen Murray. I'm 25. I write code, build apps, and, apparently, I used to fund my family's lifestyle like a silent investor who never got a share of the profits. I grew up in Springfield, Missouri, in a modest 3-bedroom house with fading yellow siding, a patchy lawn, and a front porch my mom always said she'd spruce up when things calmed down. Things never calmed down. I'm the oldest. 3 years after me, my brother Logan was born. From day one, the world revolved around him. My mom called him my miracle baby. My dad called him the future of this family. And my grandma on my dad's side literally whispered, in front of me, "Oh, that boy is going places. He's our golden child." I remember being 7 years old, holding a drawing I'd made, some lopsided rocket ship with stars, and running into the kitchen. "Mom. Look. I drew a spaceship." She glanced at it, half distracted while stirring a pot. "That's nice, honey." Then Logan toddled in, smeared yogurt across the floor, and she gasped like she'd just witnessed a miracle. "Logan. Did you walk all the way from the living room? Such a smart boy. Oh my goodness." She scooped him up, kissed his face, completely forgetting I existed. I stood there, holding my drawing, my face burning. It was like that. A lot. I got good grades? Expected. Logan joined a little league team and hit the ball once? Family celebration. As I got older, I learned something. If I didn't want to be disappointed, it was safer not to expect anything. By the time I was 16, I had a part-time job at a local grocery store. I stocked shelves after school, scanned endless cans of soup, and memorized product codes for bananas and cucumbers like they were cheat codes. I had a very simple goal. Save up to buy myself a used laptop so I could learn coding properly. One Friday night, I came home tired, smelling like cardboard and freezer burn. Logan was sprawled on the couch, playing video games, feet up on the coffee table. "Hey, Gretch," he called without looking away from the screen. "Can I borrow $40? The guys wanna order pizza and I'm short." I hesitated. "I can't. I'm saving for something." He finally turned to look at me and frowned like I'd committed a crime. "What? It's just 40. Before I could answer, my mom swooped in. "Gretchen," she snapped, like she'd just caught me shoplifting. "Your brother is asking you for help. You know how teenage boys eat. Stop being so selfish and give him the money." Selfish. The word hit me like a slap. I wanted to say, "I'm working for this. I have goals too." But the look she gave me said, "Good daughters don't say no." So I handed Logan the money. He grabbed it, grinned, and said, "You're the best," like it was a small favor. I went to my room and stared at the envelope where I was keeping my savings. My laptop fund was back to square one. I think that was the first time I realized. In my parents' minds, my money wasn't mine. It was ours, but mostly, it was Logan's. The one person who didn't treat me like a resource was my grandfather, Harold, my mom's dad. He was this quiet, warm presence. Big hands, gentle eyes, always smelled like coffee and old books. He'd come over on Sundays, sit on the back porch, and ask about my life like it actually mattered. One afternoon, When I was 18 and getting ready to start college, I sat beside him on a porch swing. Mom and Dad were inside discussing how we were going to manage money for Logan's sports, Logan's tutoring, Logan's new cleats. "Grandpa," I muttered, staring at the trees, "I got a scholarship. I'm still going to work part-time. But Mom keeps talking about how we are going to use my paychecks to help out. I'm scared I'm never going to get to keep anything for myself." He looked at me for a long moment. I said, "You have a good heart, kiddo. Too good. But listen." He leaned closer. "There is a difference between helping and being used. And from where I'm sitting, they're walking a very thin line with you." I swallowed hard. "Don't let them bleed you dry," he said softly. "You've got a life to build." I didn't fully understand then. But his words settled somewhere deep, like seeds. I got into a local college for computer science. I stayed in Springfield to save money, moved into a tiny off-campus apartment with a leaky faucet and paper-thin walls. I juggled classes with part-time work doing small coding gigs and customer support for a local startup. The day I got my first real paycheck from that job, $780 after taxes, I was over the moon. I remember calling my mom. "Mom, I got paid. My first real paycheck." She sounded thrilled. But not in the way I expected. "Oh, thank goodness," she said. "Sweetie, we're behind on the electric bill. Can you cover it? And the internet is due tomorrow. Logan needs it for school, you know that." I hesitated. "How much is it?" "Together? Maybe $600. We'll pay you back when things calm down." Spoiler. Things never calmed down. I paid the bills. And then the next month. And the next. Groceries. Car insurance for Dad's truck. Just a little extra for Logan's books. "Can you spot us for gas? Can you order Logan a new calculator? He needs it." It all sounded reasonable, one request at a time. But it added up. After college, I got my first full-time job as an app developer at a mid-sized company downtown. Not some giant Silicon Valley name, but still a solid salary for a 22-year-old. I cried in my car the day I got the offer. I felt proud, valid, like I'd done something that actually mattered. I called my parents. My dad whistled. "Wow, that's good money for someone your age." Mom said, "We're so proud of you, honey. The Lord really blessed this family through you." That sentence should have been my first clue. Not blessed you. Blessed this family through you. Within a month, the pattern escalated. "Can you take over the whole electric bill? It'll be simpler. Can you pay the internet directly? We keep forgetting. Can your account just auto-pay the gas? We'll give you the cash when we can." They never could. I started to feel like infrastructure. Like the Wi-Fi or the water system. If I ever hesitated, the guilt came quickly. "Your brother's in community college. You want him to drop out because we can't pay internet? You know how hard the economy is. We raised you, fed you, clothed you. You can't help a little?" But a little had turned into hundreds every month. I remember sitting in my small apartment one night, spreadsheets open on my laptop, anxiety squeezing my chest. Rent. Student loan minimum. Car payment. Groceries. And then a fat list of family expenses. There wasn't much left for me. I texted my best friend Deanna. "Me, do you ever feel like your family just sees you as useful?" Deanna, "What happened now?" Me, "I'm paying more for their bills than for my own life." Deanna, "That's not normal, Gretch." But in my house, it was. Deanna is the person you want in your corner. Loud, honest, big curly hair, the human embodiment of a "you deserve better" meme. We'd met in college in a programming class where we were literally the only two women. One evening, I went to her apartment with takeout. She took one look at my face and said, "Okay. Something's wrong. Spill." We sat at her tiny kitchen table with cold noodles between us, and I walked her through everything: the bills, the guilt trips, the way my parents treated Logan like royalty and me like the staff. I told her about the time I'd asked my mom, could I maybe not cover the car insurance this month? I want to start saving for a better apartment, and my mom had said, "Gretchen, be grateful. We supported you for 18 years. We didn't send you a bill for that, did we?" Deanna slammed her chopsticks down. "Okay, I don't care if they're your parents," she said. That is manipulative. You are not a walking, talking PayPal balance. I laughed weakly, but my eyes stung. She looked me dead in the eyes. You're not the bad guy here. You know that, right? They are completely enabling your brother and using you as the safety net. Hearing someone say it out loud, it was like air in my lungs for the first time in years. It wasn't just my parents. The enablers extended out into the extended family too. My Aunt Lisa would say, "Your brother's just finding his way. Boys take longer to mature. You're the smart, stable one. It's natural for you to help more." My grandma on my dad's side would cluck her tongue when she heard I'd said no once. "Family forgives, dear. You shouldn't keep score." My mom had this favorite line. "You're strong, Logan. He's sensitive. He needs more support." So when Logan dropped out of his first semester of community college because it was boring, my dad shrugged. "He'll figure it out. He just needs some time." When he quit a warehouse job after 2 weeks because the manager didn't vibe with him, Mom defended him. "He's too smart to be treated like that. We'll help him until he finds something better." And by we, she meant me. They always reminded me of their sacrifices. "We did everything for you kids," my mom would say. "All we're asking is for a little help now that you're successful." Successful? I barely had an emergency fund. The big blow-up started with something small, a notification. One random Tuesday, I was at my desk at work, testing a new feature of our app, when my phone buzzed. "Payment processed, $243.81, PayPal." I frowned. I hadn't bought anything. I opened the email. It said the payment was for a utility company. Not mine. My first thought was, oh no, did I get hacked? I locked my phone, my heart pounding, palms slick. At lunch, I sat in my car and opened PayPal on my phone. The charge was there. Then I scrolled. Water bill, electric, internet, all within the last month. There were recurring payments I didn't remember setting up. My fingers trembled as I hit call on my mom's number. "Hey, honey," she answered, too cheerful. "Everything okay?" "Did you link my PayPal to your bills?" I asked. There was a long pause. Then she gave this little laugh that made my skin crawl. "Oh, that. Don't worry, we just used it so we wouldn't have to bother you every time we needed help." Needed help. Not asked. Not agreed. Just used. "You didn't ask me," I said quietly. "Gretchen," she sighed, her tone turning impatient. "We're family. It all comes from the same place." "No, it doesn't," I whispered. "We were going to tell you," she rushed on. "You know if the lights go out, it affects Logan's ability to study job listings and apply online. You don't want to sabotage your brother's future, do you?" There it was again. My boundaries, framed as sabotage. I swallowed back a wave of anger. "You need to unlink it," I said. "We'll talk about it later, honey," she said, and then changed the subject so fast it made my head spin. We never talked about it later. And I didn't push hard enough. I told myself, it's fine. I'll just watch the charges more closely. I didn't want to be dramatic. I didn't want to be selfish. Looking back, that was the moment I should have slammed the brakes. Instead, I let them keep driving. With my wallet. As December approached, my mom started sending her usual barrage of texts. "You're coming for Christmas, right? Logan's had a rough year, we want to do something special for him. Don't you dare bring work to the dinner table, we want family time." Every time I hesitated, she'd throw in a guilt grenade. "We barely see you. Are you too good for us now? Money's changed you, hasn't it?" Money hadn't changed me. Their access to my money had changed them. On top of that, I kept getting more PayPal alerts. Payments I hadn't authorized. I'd message my mom. "Did you just pay the water bill for my PayPal again?" "Mom, relax, honey. We'll figure it all out after the holidays." After the holidays. Always after. Christmas had never been a good time for me anyway. It was always the Golden Boy show. I still remember one year when I was 13 and Logan was 10. He got a brand new game console, 3 games, and a stack of clothes. My parents filmed him ripping open wrapping paper, squealing, hugging them like an actor in a commercial. I got A sweater that was 2 sizes too big and a notebook from the dollar store. Grandma looked at me and said, "You're the responsible one. You don't need much to be happy, right?" I laughed it off, but inside, it hurt. I told myself I wasn't going home for Christmas this year. I told myself I'd stay with Deanna, order Chinese, and binge watch something. But then Mom called. Her voice was wavering, soft, strategically fragile. "Honey, your grandfather's not getting any younger. He really wants you here this year. Can you do that for him?" That was the one card that always worked. So I went. Christmas morning, I pulled into their driveway, my little car wheezing in the cold. The house looked the same. Cheap plastic wreath, sagging lights that never quite reached the end of the roofline, a blow-up snowman listing to one side. Inside, it smelled like cinnamon, ham, and tension. "Gretchen." My mom rushed over, hugging me a little too tightly, like she was trying to squeeze out any suspicion before it formed. "You made it," my dad said, clapping me on the shoulder. "Our successful girl." Logan sauntered down the hallway in a hoodie and sweatpants, hair perfectly messy in that I spent an hour making it look like I just woke up way. "Hey, G," he smirked. "You bring presents?" "Yeah," I said, lifting the bag. "For everyone." I'd spent my own money, my actual money, on thoughtful gifts. A nice leather-bound journal for my mom because she always said she wanted to start writing things down. A decent pair of wireless headphones for my dad so he could listen to his old rock playlists. A hoodie with Logan's favorite sports team logo. We did the usual small talk, then my mom clapped her hands. "Okay. Everyone in the living room. Time for presents." We all gathered around the tree. There were a lot of gifts with Logan's name on them. Big ones. Expensive-looking ones. My name popped up on a couple of small tags. I tried not to read into it. I braced myself. "Let's start with Logan," my mom said, because of course we did. He opened a branded watch. New sneakers. A nice jacket. Each gift came with commentary. "You deserve it, sweetheart. You've been under so much stress lately. You've got so much potential." My chest tightened. I wanted them to say that to me just once. Finally, after a few rounds, my mom said, Okay. There's one more for Logan. Everyone, come outside." She was practically vibrating. We all shuffled to the front door. My dad stood there, grinning like he'd just pulled off some heist. Logan stepped outside first. And there it was. A shiny silver Dodge Avenger parked in the driveway with a massive red bow slapped on the hood like something from a car commercial. For a second, my brain refused to process it. Then my mom shouted, "Surprise!" Logan froze, hands over his mouth. "No way. No way. Is that mine?" "It's yours, son," my dad said, voice thick with emotion. "You deserve the world." "You work so hard," my mom added. "We wanted to show you how proud we are of you." He started crying. Literally crying. He hugged them both, clinging to them, whispering, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." Everyone was smiling. Someone filmed the whole thing on their phone. My grandma dabbed her eyes with a tissue. I stood there on the edge of the scene, the cold seeping through my shoes, my hands shoved into my pockets, feeling like an extra in a movie I had paid to produce. I watched my brother run his hand along the car, open the door, sit inside, honk the horn. My mind was spinning. How did they afford this? They're behind on bills. They've been using my PayPal to keep the lights on. How did they buy a car? No one looked at me. Not once. We went back inside, still riding the high of Logan's car reveal. My mom finally turned to me. "Oh. We almost forgot. Gretchen, we got you something too." She reached into her purse and pulled out a small, generic envelope. My stomach dropped. I opened it. Inside was a $10 gift card to a chain coffee shop. $10. For Christmas. From my parents. While my brother was outside taking Instagram stories in his new car. "Oh," I said. My voice sounded distant even to myself. "Thanks." My mom smiled, satisfied. "You're doing fine on your own, honey. You don't need much. This is just a little something." I stared at the plastic card in my hand. Something inside me snapped into place, like a lock finally turning. "You don't deserve more than this," Honestly, my mom added lightly, and laughed. You're so low maintenance. Low maintenance? Did she mean low value? My heart pounded. I could feel every beat in my throat. My dad glanced at the car keys on the table and said, almost proudly, your brother, now, he deserves the world. We wanted to give him a good start. The room blurred. I thought of the bills on my statements. The PayPal charges. My drained savings. Their voices saying we'll pay you back and never doing it. I felt my cheeks burn, but no tears came. I heard myself say, very calmly, you won't feel that way when you lose what I've been covering. The room went still. My dad frowned. What's that supposed to mean? My mom's smile faltered. Gretchen, what are you talking about? I looked at them, really looked at them, for maybe the first time. And I realized something brutal. They didn't see me as a daughter. They saw me as infrastructure. I slipped the gift card back into the envelope, slid it into my pocket, turned around, and walked away. I went into my old bedroom, grabbed the overnight bag I'd left there, stuffed my things inside, and walked out. Where are you going? My mom demanded from the hallway. Home, I said. This is your home, my dad snapped. Not anymore, I replied. I walked out, past the car, past Logan posting on social media, down the driveway, and into my own beat-up sedan. I drove away without looking back. I drove straight to Deanna's place, my hands shaking on the steering wheel, my vision blurring around the edges. She opened the door in sweats and fuzzy socks, eyes wide. What happened? I stepped inside, dropped my bag, and said the words that felt like poison in my throat. They bought Logan a car with my money. We sat on her couch, and I told her everything, every word, every expression, the $10 gift card, the you don't deserve more than this. She listened, her face darkening with every detail. That's evil, she said finally. Not just selfish. Evil. I stared at my hands. Deanna stood up suddenly. Okay. Enough. Let's look at your accounts. We opened my laptop. I logged into PayPal, my bank, my credit cards. We scrolled. Water bill. Electric. Internet. Phone. Some random store purchases. Look at this, Deanna said, pointing. This is months of charges. My stomach twisted. Then we saw it. One large payment, significantly higher than the others, to an auto financing company. Deanna's eyes widened. No, I whispered. No way. We clicked into the details. There it was. A down payment toward a vehicle. My heart felt like it dropped into my stomach. They used your PayPal, Deanna said slowly, to make the down payment on Logan's car. I didn't authorize this, I said. My voice was barely above a whisper. I didn't even know. I felt nauseous. I thought about my parents smiling while giving Logan that speech. You deserve the world. With my money. Deanna put a hand on my shoulder. Gretchen. This is financial abuse. This isn't helping family. This is theft. I'm so stupid, I choked out. No, she said sharply. You're not stupid. You're trusting. And they exploited that. Tears finally spilled over. I hadn't cried at the house. I hadn't cried in the car. But sitting on Deanna's couch, staring at the numbers, realizing just how much they'd taken, I broke. I sobbed until my chest hurt. Until my throat burned. Until I had nothing left. Deanna sat there with me, rubbing my back. Listen to me, she said. You are not the bad guy. You did nothing wrong. They are completely enabling your brother and treating you like an ATM. It ends now. The next morning, still puffy-eyed and exhausted, I opened my laptop again. I changed my PayPal password. I revoked every connected device I didn't recognize. I removed any autopay links that weren't mine. I called the utility companies and told them I was not authorizing future charges from my account. Then I called my bank and had them put alerts on anything suspicious. It felt terrifying and exhilarating at the same time. Like jumping off a cliff and hoping a parachute would appear. My phone started buzzing a few hours later. Mom, hey honey, we're getting errors on the bill payment. Are you doing something? Mom, we need the lights on, you know? Mom, Gretchen, answer your phone. Then my dad called. I let it ring once. Twice. 3 times. Finally, I picked up. His voice came through hot and angry. What did you do? I forced my own voice to stay calm. I secured my accounts. You cut off the payments. He barked. The electricity, the water, the car, everything bounced. Do you have any idea what kind of mess you just caused? I laughed bitterly. Do you have any idea what kind of mess you caused when you stole my money to buy Logan a car? He scoffed. Don't be dramatic. We didn't steal. We borrowed. No, I said firmly. Borrowing means asking. You never did. You secretly linked my PayPal and drained my account. That's not borrowing. That's theft. He was silent for a second, then his tone turned oily. We did it for the family. For all of us. Your brother needs that car to get his life on track. So my life can be derailed? I shot back. My savings didn't matter? My goals didn't matter? You're doing fine, he said. You make good money. Logan's struggling. Because you never taught him consequences, I snapped. You've spent his whole life telling him he deserves the world while telling me I don't deserve more than a $10 gift card. He exploded. Oh, so this is about Christmas, he sneered. You're jealous of your own brother. Do you even hear how ugly that sounds? I felt a surge of cold anger. I'm not jealous of him, I said slowly. I'm disgusted by you. Silence. He tried a new tactic. You want us to be homeless? That's what you want? You want us out on the street because you can't help your family for a few more months? There it was, the nuclear guilt. For a brief second, my resolve wavered. I pictured my parents in the dark, Logan on the couch, the house cold. But then I remembered the numbers. The PayPal statement. The down payment. No one had hesitated when they took from me. I took a deep breath. I'm not responsible for fixing the problems you created, I said. I've been helping for years. You didn't treat it like help. You treated it like an obligation. We raised you, he shouted. We fed you, clothed you, kept a roof over your head. You owe us. And there it was. The truth. I don't owe you my financial future, I said quietly. That's not how parenting works. His voice cracked, suddenly sounding small. What are we supposed to do? I don't know, I replied. Maybe. What every other adult does when they're in trouble. Cut back. Get extra jobs. Sell the car. He sucked in a breath. You're heartless. No, I said. For the first time in my life, I'm being fair, to myself. He tried one last time. Gretchen, be reasonable. Step up again. We're family. I'm not your ATM, I said. Not anymore. And I hung up. I sat there, phone in my hand, trembling. Then I realized. Nothing bad happened after I said no. The sky didn't fall. I didn't die. I was just free. My parents did not take my new boundaries well. Instead of quietly regrouping, they did what a lot of narcissistic people do when they lose control. They tried to control the narrative. I started hearing about it from other people. A coworker who knew my mom casually said, I saw something your mom posted on Facebook. Are you okay? I blinked. What did she post? He hesitated. Something like, after everything we did for our daughter, she abandoned us when we needed her most. Money really shows someone's true colors. My stomach twisted. Then my Aunt Lisa called me, voice tight. Your mother is heartbroken, she said. She says you're refusing to help them when they're about to lose their home. Is that true? I took a deep breath. Aunt Lisa, did she also tell you they used my PayPal without permission and bought Logan a car with my money? Silence. Then a quiet, what? I explained. Line by line. Payment by payment. I could hear her anger shifting, like a tide. She didn't mention any of that, she said slowly. Of course she didn't, I replied. Word started to spread. Deanna, God bless her, didn't hold back. When someone at her work mentioned my parents having such a hard time because their daughter cut them off, she said. Yeah, their daughter cut them off because they financially abused her and used her money to buy their son a car. People talk. Especially in a town like Springfield. My parents wanted everyone to see me as the villain. Instead, people started seeing them clearly. And that's the thing about trying to smear someone. If you push too hard, people start asking questions. Those questions led straight back to the truth. Without my income quietly padding their finances, reality hit fast. The car payment bounced. The utilities got cut-off notices. The credit card companies stopped being patient. One afternoon, my phone lit up with a message from a neighbor back home. "Neighbor, hey, are you okay? I saw a tow truck at your parents' house taking Logan's car." I stared at the message for a long time. Logan's car. The one bought with my money. Gone. A week later, Aunt Lisa called again. "They're in trouble, Gretchen," she said. "The bank is starting foreclosure proceedings. They got too far behind on the mortgage." I felt complicated. Part of me felt sick. This was still my family. But another part of me remembered my dad yelling, "You owe us." My mom saying, "You don't deserve more than this." Their Facebook posts painting me as a monster. And I couldn't deny it. This wasn't my doing. This was the consequence of their choices. They could have cut back. They could have sold the car sooner. They could have apologized and worked out a real plan. Instead, they chose image over substance. They wanted Logan to have a shiny car more than they wanted financial stability. They wanted control over me more than they wanted a relationship with me. So they lost both. While all of this was happening, my own life was weirdly leveling up. I kept thinking about how easily my parents had gotten access to my money. How confused I'd been trying to track what was mine and what wasn't. How vulnerable freelancers and remote workers must feel with vague shared accounts. So I started building something. On nights and weekends, I sat at my tiny desk, laptop open, coffee going cold beside me, writing code. I designed an app that helped freelancers and independent workers track incoming payments, flag suspicious recurring charges, see who had connected access to their accounts at a glance, get alerts when an unusual transaction hit. It was part budgeting tool, part security system, part trauma response. I named it Clearline. Because that's what I craved. Clear lines. I showed an early version to my mentor, F.A. Turner, a seasoned developer who'd always taken an interest in junior devs at work. We grabbed coffee one afternoon, and I walked him through the idea. He listened, brows raised, occasionally nodding. "This is clever," he said. "Where did this come from?" I hesitated, then decided to tell him the truth. "My parents used my accounts without permission," I said. "Paid their bills. Bought my brother a car. I didn't know until it was way too late. I keep thinking, if I did something like this, I would have seen it sooner." He sat back, eyes thoughtful. "That's awful," he said. "I'm sorry you went through that." "Thanks," I muttered. Then he smiled slightly. "But you took something ugly and turned it into something useful. That's powerful." He introduced me to a small group of angel investors he knew. I demoed the app. I told my story, not in a pity way, but in a "this is a real problem" way. They saw the potential. Within a few months, I had seed funding. A small amount, but enough to build a proper MVP, hire one more developer and a designer, and reduce my day job hours. I moved into a slightly bigger apartment with decent light and actual insulation. I bought a new desk. A real office chair. And for the first time in my life, every dollar I spent felt like mine. Around this time, my mom texted me a long, emotional message. "We're going to lose the house. Logan is depressed. I can't believe you're just watching us fall apart when you could fix everything. What did we do that was so unforgivable?" I stared at the screen for a long time. Part of me ached. Part of me wanted to send money just to make the discomfort go away. But another part of me whispered, "If you fix this for them, they will never, ever learn. And you will never be free." I typed, deleted, retyped. Finally, I wrote. "What you did was use my money without my permission, lie by omission, and then try to turn everyone against me when I said no. I hope things work out for you, but I won't be funding your lifestyle anymore." Then I put my phone down and walked away. Let me ask you something. If you were in my position, if your parents had drained your accounts and bought your sibling a car with your money, would you have helped them again when they started to fall apart? Or would you have let them face the consequences? I genuinely want to know. Drop it in the comments if you're listening to this, because even now, sometimes I wonder if I was too harsh. Months passed. My parents ended up moving into a much smaller rental. They lost the house. Logan lost the car. I heard bits and pieces through Aunt Lisa and our neighbor. Then one evening, my phone buzzed. Logan, can we talk? I stared at his name. We hadn't spoken properly since Christmas. He'd sent a few angry messages when the car got repossessed, accusing me of ruining everything, but I'd ignored them. Curiosity, and a tiny thread of hope, got the better of me. Me, about what? Logan, about everything. Please. We agreed to meet at a quiet coffee shop away from the neighborhood. He walked in wearing an old jacket, looking smaller somehow. Not physically, but less inflated. He sat down, eyes darting everywhere but my face. Hey, he muttered. Hey, I said. There was an awkward silence. How are you? I asked finally. He shrugged. Been better. Another pause. I'm working at a warehouse now, he said. Full-time. It sucks. But, gotta do it. I nodded. That's good. It's something. He picked at the cardboard sleeve of his coffee cup. So. They told me some stuff, he said. About the money. About the car. I raised an eyebrow. Some stuff? That they might have used your PayPal. More than they said. And that you were upset. Upset. Interesting choice of word. Logan, I said, they didn't just use my PayPal. They stole from me. For months. And they used it to help buy your car. He winced. I didn't know, he said. I mean, I knew they were tight. But I thought they were handling it. That's the problem, I said quietly. You never thought about where things came from. You just accepted them. He went silent. After a minute, he said, I'm sorry. I studied his face. He looked genuinely ashamed. For what? I asked. For not asking questions, he said. For calling you selfish. For saying you ruined my life. I was just mad. I didn't want to look at myself. It wasn't a perfect apology, but it was something. I forgive you, I said. His head snapped up. You do? Yeah, I do. He let out a breath, like he'd been holding it since Christmas. So, does that mean you'll come back? He asked. Like, visit more. Help out again. It's been rough. There it was. The quiet expectation that forgiveness equals access. I took a sip of my drink, buying myself a second. I can forgive you, I said. But I can't go back to the way things were. He frowned. Why not? We're family. Because that environment is toxic, I said. They don't see what they did as wrong. They see me saying no as the problem, not their actions. He didn't argue. He just stared at his cup. I miss you, he said softly. I miss the version of us that wasn't built on me sacrificing everything, I replied. But I'm finally building something of my own. I can't sacrifice that to make them comfortable. We sat in silence for a while. When we left, he hugged me. It was quick and awkward, but real. As I walked back to my car, I felt strangely light. Sometimes, forgiveness is for you. Not for them. A few weeks later, I went to visit my grandfather. He'd been having some health issues, so I made a point to see him more. He was sitting in his favorite recliner, a blanket over his knees, the TV playing quietly in the background. How's my entrepreneur? He asked with a tired smile when I walked in. I laughed. Trying. We talked about the app. I told him about the funding, the little team I was building, the customers who'd messaged us saying, this helped me catch a fraudulent charge, or your app helped me see that my ex still had access to my account. He listened, pride shining in his eyes. You took something painful and turned it into something that protects people, he said. That's something special, kiddo. I swallowed the lump in my throat. He reached over and squeezed my hand. I heard about the house, he said quietly. About your parents. About Logan. My stomach clenched. I'm sorry you had to go through all that, he said. But I'm proud of you. For what? I asked, genuinely confused. For finally choosing yourself, he replied. You've always been the one holding everyone together. At some point, you had to put the pieces down and walk away. That takes guts. Tears stung my eyes. You don't think I'm selfish? I asked. He shook his head. Selfish people take and take and take, he said. You gave until it hurt. Then you stopped letting them hurt you. That's not selfish. That's survival. I leaned forward and hugged him, burying my face in his shoulder like I was a little kid again. He patted my back. Live for yourself, Gretchen, he whispered. You've spent enough years living for everyone else. Time passed. The app grew slowly but steadily. We launched new features. We fixed bugs at 2 a.m. We celebrated every milestone with cheap takeout and laughter. I built routines that had nothing to do with my family's emergencies. Morning coffee at the same little cafe. Yoga in my living room with a YouTube video. Game nights with Dana and a few coworkers. I watched my email, my accounts, my finances, all under my own control. Sometimes, I get a text from my mom, short, barbed. Hope your fancy app is worth breaking up your family. Other times, it'd be something softer. I miss you. You could fix all this. But I noticed something. She still never said, I'm sorry. She never acknowledged what she'd done as wrong. And that told me everything I needed to know. One night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything that had happened. If I had stayed. If I had kept paying their bills, kept letting them use my accounts, kept funding Logan's life, I would have lost any chance at my own. I would never have built Clearland. Never have learned to say no. Never have discovered that my worth isn't tied to what I can give. I made a choice. And I'd make it again. If you've listened this far, I want to talk to you directly for a moment. Maybe you're the responsible one in your family. The one who gets the late night calls. The one who always figures it out. The one they say doesn't need much. Maybe you've been made to feel selfish for wanting anything for yourself. Let me tell you something I wish someone had screamed in my ear years ago. Helping isn't the same as being used. Helping is a choice. Being used is when that choice is taken away from you, by guilt, by manipulation, by expectation. Your value is not measured by how much you can give before you break. Your worth is not the sum of your sacrifices. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to protect what you earn. You are allowed to cut off access to your accounts, your time, your energy, when people prove they can't be trusted with them. And yes, that includes family. Setting boundaries isn't cruel. It isn't ungrateful. It isn't selfish. It's necessary. Necessary for your mental health. Necessary for your future. Necessary so that you don't spend your whole life building everyone else's dreams while yours collect dust. If my story teaches anything, I hope it's this. Don't ignore red flags just because they come from people you love. Don't let anyone convince you that your job, your income, your skills exist to make their life easier while they make yours harder. And when someone shows you that they only value you for what you can provide, believe them. Then decide what you're going to do about it. Because the moment I finally said, I'm not your ATM, my life didn't fall apart. Theirs did. And that's not because I cursed them. It's because their whole house was built on using me as the foundation. Once I stepped out, the structure they'd built with entitlement and denial collapsed under its own weight. So guard what you've earned. Guard your peace. Guard your boundaries like your life depends on it, because in some ways, it does. And if you've ever cut someone off for treating you this way, or you're thinking about it, you're not a villain. You're a person finally choosing yourself.